I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation is going to be on Kalisha Marquita Madden. Kalisha Madden is a mother of six from Detroit, Michigan, who has been missing for over 14 years. She was last seen on November the 28th, 2011, leaving her place of employment in Detroit. She was last seen around 3 a.m., 3 through 4 a.m., leaving the Sting Gentlemen's Club, formerly known as the Vegas Strip Club, at 6609 Michigan Avenue on Detroit's west side. She was observed getting into a dark-colored black truck or SUV with three black men. One of the men reportedly used crutches and may have gone by the name Benny. Disappearance status classified her as an endangered missing persons. She failed to pick up her children from school the following day, which her family stated was completely out of character. At the time of her disappearance, Kalisha was 26 years old. In 2025, she would be 40 years old today, December the 23rd, 2025. She actually has grandchildren today, 5 grandchildren, and she would be 40. And she still has not been found or heard from. So, this case did receive a lot of media attention. You know, it received a lot more than minimum. You know, despite the years of public appeals and rumors, her case remains unsolved as of 2025. Her mother, Pamela Johnson, continues to advocate for answers. Of course, what mother wouldn't, right? So that is the information that I have on Kalisha Madden. Now, I'm going to get straight to her charts. I've had time to spend with the information. I've had time to spend with her charts, and I've had time to spend with her photos. Photos are very important as an oracle. Okay, we get a lot of information from photos, the energy from her photos. Okay, I am a high-ranking astro oracle psychic. I communicate with the living and the dead. We're not sure if Kalisha is dead, but we are sure that she is missing. So today I am going to conduct a high-ranking astro oracle psychic reading to find out what happened to Kalisha Marquita Madden. Her stage name is Mocha. So let's get straight to her charts. I have the chart of the day she was born, February the 4th, 1985, and the last day she was seen, November the 28th, 2011, where all of the planets were on those two specific days. We're going to go over those charts. I'm going to let you know what I saw in the charts, okay, which represents the general astrological weather and planetary alignments. As you all know, our planets are our ancestors. Those are our electromagnetic satellites that govern all of our energies, frequencies, and vibrations for us to be able to exist in this realm. And they orbit the supreme being, which is the God of this solar system, the sun. Okay? All religious stories are talking about the nature of the sun. Okay? They all paint pictures of the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. They paint pictures as people of the seasons, okay? The zodiac signs. All of those are stories about energies, frequencies, and vibrations. And they tell you stories about these energies using people. They create fictional characters like Moses and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the tribes of Israel, and all of that. These are all fictional characters that represent energies that still exist. Like they're eternal energies, but it is a story of energy. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob is the story of energies. Okay, the tribes of Israel is the story of energies. The Son of God is the story of energy. It is the literal story of the sun and the nature of the sun and its path on the ecliptic through each energy zodiac. So these are, but that's a whole nother video. We're going to get into that. I just want to give you a brief overview on where I get my information from. So the day Kalisha was born, February the 4th, 1985, the sun was in Aquarius and the moon was in Cancer. And y'all know how I formulate time. Time is the sun divided by moon cycles. So when you put a Cancer moon in Aquarius's house, Virgo is rising. The sixth house, Virgo comes first. Now, Virgo is work and employment, and that is where she was last seen leaving her work and employment. So, what a chart for Kalisha to have. It goes to show that her life revolved around her work. This is literally her birth chart energy. And the sixth house is the house of work, service, and health, daily routines, and employment. So, this chart cannot let me know what happened to her. If she's missing, this chart will not let me know where she's at. If she is dead, her birth chart will not let me know if she's dead. However, her birth chart will let me know by specific starting points if she is missing, where she's most likely ended up. And if she is dead, where she most likely ended up. So the missing aspect of Kalisha will fall in the 12th house. The 12th house is Pisces' house. That is the house of the hidden, the missing, the unknown. I always look in the 12th house to see the nature of what's hiding in this investigation. So far, the starting point of what can easily hide in Kalisha's energy is Leo. Leo energy. This could be a Leo person, place, or thing. We're going to find out if it comes out in the cards or if any card connects to this Leo. However, Leo is the energy of romance, creativity, entertainment. She was an adult entertainer. She worked at a strip club, a club of adult entertainment. We do know that for sure. That is Leo energy. When it's in the 12th house, it is submerged with all types of mind-altering, mood-changing substances that complement this Leo energy, such as drugs, alcoholism, and all types of psychedelics and things of that nature. Okay? Now, this is the starting point of when she went missing. Whatever ends up in the 12th house in her disappearance chart will let us know where she ended up. And what falls in between is what's going to tell the story. Now, the starting point of her death, the starting point of all of Kalisha's transitions, whether she's transitioning from her body, transitioning from one place to the next, from one job to the next, one relationship to the next, we always look in the 8th house. That is the house of transition and death. The 8th house is also the house of sex and shared resources. So now, the 8th house in Kalisha's chart, I see Aries. Aries is the energy of self. She took herself very serious to the point where her entire being was her currency. That is how she got what she wanted from another, using her Aries energy. Whatever energy is in the 8th house represents your power to merge with another, your power to inherit what belongs to others, their money, their resources, their home, their car. You know, Kalisha was most likely the type who got what she wanted, and she knew how to get it. So now, this is the starting point of all of her transitions. So we know when it comes to transitions, she was head on. Aries in the eighth house also can represent suicide, but I'm uncertain that she committed suicide, and so was her family. She had 6 children, and her family knows that this is not the day she never showed up to pick up her children from school was when they know something was wrong. Your family knows you. They know you enough to know whether you're going to commit suicide or not. So that nobody believes that Kalisha intentionally disappeared or committed suicide. So we're going to stick with that. Let's pull her disappearance chart. Kalisha disappeared in that SUV that morning of November 28th, 2011. The sun was in Sagittarius and the moon was in Capricorn. When you put a Capricorn moon in Sagittarius' house, which is the 9th house, Taurus is rising. Taurus represents her disappearance chart. Taurus is the energy of money, the 2nd house. This is a 2nd house chart. This is a chart of money and material. So the root of her disappearance was most likely her pursuing more money. Taurus energy. Where was Taurus energy at in Kalisha's chart? Taurus energy is right here in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house of higher knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It is also the house of Jupiter, which represents expansion. When Taurus is here, this represents an expanded financial capacity that most likely will take you to foreign places. What I saw with these 2 charts was not so much a foreign proposal, but definitely a financial proposal. Information, especially through possible phone records, will show, even in these charts, that there was a conversation that was had between these people that are from Kalisha's place of employment. Because look in the 11th house. That is Aquarius's house. This is Kalisha's birth chart, the 6th house, the 11th house, right? In the 11th house, I see Cancer. That is Kalisha's moon sign. I always follow the moon and see where it ends up the day of the disappearance or the crime. That will give me information on this Cancer in the 11th house at birth. So the day Kalisha disappeared, Cancer was in the 3rd house of local travel. This is exactly where she was last seen. Now, the 11th house lets me know who she was seen with when I look in her birth chart. She was getting in a vehicle, and Cancer represents the moon, nighttime. The 3rd house is Gemini's house. It represents the local environment and local travel and vehicles. This is where she was last seen, getting in the vehicle with these individuals that are from the 11th house. This is Aquarius's house. Where is Aquarius at in Kalisha's chart? It's over here in the 6th house of work. These were people from her place of employment, that club. Now, where's Aquarius at the day she actually disappeared? Aquarius is right here in the 10th house. I see myself getting too light again. Let me turn down this light. I always try to do this before I log on because I don't want to be too bright, especially when these charts pop up, because the gloss, the laminate, makes me look high yellow. Aquarius is right here in the 10th house. That's Capricorn's house. This is the boss's house. This is the house of success. Now, Capricorn is actually over here in the 9th house. And it's no mistake, because that's where Kalisha's image, that's the first thing that was rising the day she disappeared. Her pursuit for more money came from her 9th house. So we got to connect the dot. She pursued money from this 9th house, pursued more money. Ironically, in the 9th house, the day she disappeared was Capricorn, which represents where these people are. The nature of these people are successful. Capricorn represents the authority figure, but it also represents successful people that would have been the exchange of this information. How I know it was a conversation, cell phone records, and information is because Gemini, which represents messages, information, interaction, and travels, is in Kalisha's 10th house. So there was a conversation had between Kalisha and these people. Aquarius represents the people, the group, the organization, the circle, the sorority, the fraternity. So, in the third house of Kalisha's chart of travel, you see Scorpio. Scorpio is the energy of death and sex. This could mean that if she did die, she most likely died during that travel. Now let's look in the house of the missing. Remember, the missing started off with Kalisha's Leo energy that was hiding. What was hiding the day she disappeared? Aries. Now, Aries, remember, came from Kalisha's house of death and sex. So we do know the nature of her disappearance, not her death, but the nature of her disappearance had a lot to do with what would lead to her death. Because remember, this is her birth chart. Aries is the starting point, not the ending point to whether she's dead or not. It's the starting point. But for Kalisha's starting point to end up in the house of the missing, all we got to do is look in the house of death the day she actually went missing to give us information on whether she's dead. So when you go over in the house of death, I see Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the 9th house, where this Capricorn energy and Kalisha's pursuit of more money originates from and ended up. This is Jupiter's house, the 9th house. This is Sagittarius' house. And Sagittarius showed up in the house of death. Sagittarius is the energy of long distance travels, foreigners, higher knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And it's also the house of churches. It is the house of colleges, long journeys, and the woods. Astro Oracle. Let's talk about it. This is my OG. I'm going to pull 4 cards on Kalisha Madden. I'm going to pull 4 cards. These 4 cards is going to tell us the story of what happened to Kalisha Madden November 28, 2011, who was born February the 4th, 1985. What happened to Kalisha Madden, born February 4th, 1985, who disappeared November the 28th, 2011? What happened to Kalisha Madden, November the 28th, 2011? In 4 cards. Hold up. Sometimes these cards get jumbled up. But whatever pops out, I always get that card too. But nothing popped out yet. So I'm going to continue to shuffle them. What happened to Kalisha Madden? In 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Y'all already know where this is going. Look at that. Sagittarius came out twice. All right. Sagittarius came out twice. Mercury came out in reverse, which is the planet of travel. This was definitely foul play. Where she was going is not where they told her they was taking her. This is foul play. She was supposed to be going to the place of the guys that were in that SUV, but she never made it there. This was foul play because it came out in reverse. Mercury rules the 3rd house, which is where she was last seen. Okay, and remember I told you she has Scorpio, the energy of death, in the 3rd house, which is most likely where she ended up dying. Also in the third house, the day she disappeared, you could see her getting into the vehicle right here. I told you that in the beginning of the reading. This was foul play. This is also the planet that belongs to Gemini. So the information that she received was a lie about this financial increase. Sagittarius came upright as a thing. And I believe that. But when it came to her going to the place, it became foul play. When it came to her traveling to this actual place, because Sagittarius represents the long distance aspect of travel. Sagittarius and Gemini are opposite signs. Gemini represents local environment travel around the city, around the neighborhood, from point A to point B. Sagittarius travel represents long distance travel, state to state, country to country, from point A to point Z. However, this place that she was supposed to be going to pursue this financial increase came out in reverse. And this thing that represented the place that it could take her to came out in reverse. Let's find out about this Sagittarius thing. Okay? This Sagittarius thing showed up in the house of death. I do believe Kalisha is gone. Because these two Sagittarius cards would not have came out. And I know it lined up with the foul play of Mercury. The short distance travel that represented this long distance place. I believe there was a foreigner involved too that was in that SUV. Whether it was somebody from a different race, somebody from a different culture from Kalisha. Then this Virgo thing came out, and it came out upright. Virgo is Kalisha's birth chart energy. It came first. Virgo represents the body. And in the first house, it represents the body for work. She used her body for work. We do know that. This Virgo thing represents the body that was used for entertainment purposes for her work. That had a lot to do with her death. Because the first house is Aries' house. And Kalisha has Aries in the house of death. Now, Mercury, this planet that came out in reverse, that confirmed the foul play of where they were taking her, also rules Virgo. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. It rules the informative conversations of Gemini, and it rules the practical application of Virgo. There was a conversation had between Kalisha and these gentlemen that would have promised her more money, but it didn't pan out that way. This right here is going to give Kalisha a voice. These two charts that I pulled already was the chart from her birth time and the chart from the time she disappeared. These are collective charts. Okay? So I can look in these two charts to see what went on those days in anybody's life. These two charts are not personal charts. They are collective charts. Now, I'm going to allow Kalisha to pull a personal chart. A personal free will chart. Meaning, these two charts represent the weather, the astrological weather of that day. You don't have to cooperate with the weather. Just because it may be raining don't mean you have to go outside and wear an umbrella. You can get wet if you want to. Just because it's wintertime don't mean you have to bundle up. You can go outside butt naked if you want to. This is what it means when you have free will. You do not have to cooperate with nature. So these are the planetary alignments that came natural to that day. But we're going to find out how Kalisha weathered these alignments by pulling a chart of her own. The planet that you see at the top of this card, whatever sign is in, I'm going to put that sign in the house of whatever the planet sign is at the bottom. What happened to Kalisha Madden? I'm giving Kalisha Madden a voice. I'm giving her soul a voice. Regardless of whether she is absent from the body or not, the soul is eternal. Jupiter. But I tell you, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, the ninth house. Yes, this was a financial opportunity. Jupiter is the planet of opportunity. She was pursuing the financial opportunity. Make sure y'all utilize my Zodiac tutorial in the link that I put in every reading below. It's called Astro Oracle Tutorial. So you will see for yourself. It is a timestamp video. You don't have to look at the whole video. You can go directly to whatever planet, whatever sign, and whatever house number you hear me talk about in any of my charts or pull in any of my cards, and it will give you a general meaning of what that sign means, what that planet means, and what that house means. So you'll see for yourself. Energy does not lie. She was pursuing this financial opportunity. Jupiter. Now, that day, Jupiter was in Taurus. And Taurus came first the day she disappeared. Jupiter was right here the day she disappeared. She was pursuing that financial opportunity. Taurus is the energy of finances. That's what came first the day she disappeared. Now we're going to find out where the shit went left by looking at the bottom. Look what also you see. Jupiter. You cannot make this up. Jupiter. So Jupiter was in Taurus at the top, and we're going to put the Taurus Jupiter in Taurus's house. Jupiter at the bottom. Remember I told you the planet at the top goes in the house of the sign at the bottom. Whatever planet this planet is in. Whatever sign this planet is in. Jupiter is in Taurus. Both of these are Taurus energy. So when you put Taurus in its own house, guess what comes first? Aries. Her death. Aries comes first. Look at Jupiter in Taurus right there. In the second house. Jupiter in Taurus, in Taurus's house. Aries is the energy of Kalisha's death. Look in the 8th house of Kalisha's birth chart. You see Aries. Aries is coming first. Her death. That's what led to her death. Now let's follow Mars, since Aries comes first, to elaborate on how she most likely died. I see gunfire. Aries is ruled by Mars. That day, Uranus was in Aries, and Uranus rules Aquarius, the group. Somebody in that group did it. Now, Mars was in Virgo the day she disappeared. Virgo is Kalisha's birth chart. Mars was right here the day she disappeared. They killed her. They shot her in the head because Aries rules the head. And when Aries shows up in the house of death, this was a gunshot to the head. This is so sad. Lost and found. Where is Kalisha Madden's body? Took a mother who had 6 kids, and you knew she was up there dancing to support her children. She wasn't up there dancing because she's a hoe. She was doing what she felt like she needed to do to support her children. I don't believe this is something she wanted to do. This is something that she felt like, okay, this is something that I can do. Use my body for entertainment to get money as an earning capacity. It would have came natural to her energy. Because like I said, in her birth chart, Aries is in the house of death, sex, and shared resources. So Kalisha was very familiar with her own body and the currency of her body. Where is your body today, Kalisha Madden, who was born February 4th, 1985, who went missing November 28th, 2011? Where is your body today, Kalisha Madden, December 23rd, 2025? Where is the body of Kalisha Madden, who was born February the 4th, 1985, who was last seen November 28th, 2011? Where is your body? In a body of water in the 10th house. This is a public body of water. This is a well-known body of water that her body is in, because the 10th house represents the house of the well-known. Now, this body of water is in possibly that local environment, but it is a big body of water. Check this out. The chart that she just pulled on her own, look what you see in the 10th house. Capricorn. That's Capricorn's house. The 10th house is Capricorn's house. The day she went missing, look what you see in the 10th house. The group she was traveling with. And in Kalisha's 10th house, you see the local environment and that conversation that she was having about that financial opportunity. Her body is in a public body of water. This is not no private river or recession pond type shit. Okay, this ain't no lake. This is a public body of water that her body is in that area. In a body of water. Now, being that she pulled this, let's follow Saturn, because Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn was in Libra that day. And Libra is at home in the house of partnership. Libra is the energy of partnership. Okay? Libra, the day she disappeared, was in the 6th house. That lets us know that this partner that did it came from her place of work. This is Virgo's house. Libra is there. That's where she met the partner. In Kalisha's birth chart, Libra is right here in the 2nd house. That lets us know that her energy of partnership involves finances. This is Taurus's house, the 2nd house. She was pursuing more money. She was pursuing more money. This is so sad. I'm going to pull 2 cards from this evidence deck and we're going to close it out. Give us evidence, Kalisha, in 2 cards that can lead us to some leads to find these people that did this to your body so we can locate your body. Kalisha Madden, talk to me in 2 cards. Give me evidence in 2 cards that can lead us to solve this case. One, 2. Wow. Drug medical evidence. Drug and medical evidence came out twice. In the 11th house, which is Aquarius's house, and the 12th house, which is the house of the missing. Both of these are drug and medical evidence. They drugged her. I believe Kalisha does drugs, but they did something extra. They put something in her drug. Wow. And see, the day she went missing, look what's in the 11th house. This is the drug energy in the negative. This is a negative situation. So Pisces unfolds as drugs and alcohol. The 11th house. They was all getting high together. They was all drinking together. But they put something in her drug. In the house of the chart she just pulled, look, it was that group in the SUV that she was with. And in the 12th house, you see the drug that killed her. They're going to find it in her body. Amounts of drugs, high amounts of drugs in her body. And in her workplace, in her birth chart energy, look what's in the 11th house. Cancer. That's her moon sign. In the 11th house represents she was the type of person she was the close friend to people. She got close to people like family. And she confided in somebody in this group. She was closer, but it still ended up being foul play. They made her comfortable. And look what's in the 12th house. This celebration. Like I told you in the beginning, it was submerged. This is a celebration collaborated with drugs and alcohol. I told you that in the very beginning. Look at that. And in Leo's house, you see Capricorn, the goat, the one that was in charge, the head honcho of this whole crime that took place. They're going to find her body in a body of water. And it's in a public body of water in that area. I'm going to research large bodies of water in that area of Detroit where she went missing. That's going to be my reading today for Kalisha Madden. May she rest in peace. And justice for Kalisha Madden. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my investigations. Y'all be blessed.